So we started this program on a very interesting note, and I know a lot of Amazonians watching us right now would like us to act, would like to hear your opinions on this. It has to do with the number two of Cameroon's de facto group. That's what I think within Ambazonia. I call it the Joker card within the nation of Ambazonia. And since we've seen Cho Ayaba has gotten himself victimized with his own ego and the way he goes about things, Yin came out with a propaganda speech. I understand that he has daily briefings, and this was brought to my attention. Maybe I don't need to belabor the point. I like you us to like those who are watching us to watch the first few seconds of this propaganda speech of Yin. Then we'll come back with our analysis.
Today, I come to you to touch on 3 points. Other points would be stressed upon during my daily briefings. First, I wish to acknowledge the fact that a Cameroonian delegation and a Norwegian delegation have met your leader, Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba, in Oslo prison in order to negotiate the end of Cameroon rules in Ambazonia. This is after 8 months of incarceration under flimsy excuses by the Norwegian government. Ambazonian people, fellow comrades, this is not new. When Cameroon and France and the United Kingdom and Canada devised a scheme to decapitulate the leadership in the diaspora, we knew what they were heading to. We knew what they were heading for. We knew what they were going to do. When they also decided to decapitulate the leadership on the ground, we knew their playbook. Because from history, we have seen how the French decapitulated the nationalist movement prior to independence of Cameroon and handed over power to enablers and traitors like Ahidjo and Biya. In the same scheme of decapitulating the leadership, when the teachers and lawyers rose in 2016 in this last phase of our revolution, Cameroon arrested the leaders of the consortium, jailed them in the hope to decapitulate and crumble the resistance. In 2019, they arrested and renditioned Siseko Ayuk Tabe because to them they thought if you decapitulate the leadership, you're going to crumble the resistance. They also
Well, it is unfortunate that he doesn't even have the true history. He's trying to manipulate history. Zico was arrested on the 5th of January 2018, less than 60 days after the interim government came into existence, and just a few days after he addressed the people of Amazonia from the United States. I was one of those who worked to have that speech out. Um, I don't know where to begin with this. We have a limited time, but I think I should start with you, Dr. Lobati. These are
Well,
the same group of people who did not recognize Sisiko even when he was out.
now you know that when Jesus was tempted by the devil, he quoted scripture, the devil, but he quoted it wrong, and Jesus had to correct him. The Bible also says that the devil also sometimes comes across like an angel of light. So what I'm saying is that group, you see them dressed with regalia that looks like Amazonian regalia. You hear them talking with the Republic du Cameroon for the first time, acknowledging that they are talking with the Republic du Cameroon, which we knew they have been talking with the Republic du Cameroon and collaborating with the Republic du Cameroon. But here he says they have been talking with the Republic du Cameroon how to bring this thing to an end. Now, so these people are basically an extended arm of La Republique du Cameroon in Amazonia. We know that they are equipped by the La Republique military, armed by La Republique military, trained by La Republique military, guided on the Grand Ambazona by the DOs. They know all what is going. And a good example is when Mrs. Mundi, the senator who was collaborating with the government to fake being abducted by the Amba boys, was picked up in Quen. They carried her into Batibo territory without any harm, held her there for a while, fed her, and then released her. Now, from Quen to Batibo territory, you have about 20 military checkpoints. It is impossible to carry somebody of that caliber against her wishes in a car and drive through those 20 military checkpoints and arrive at your destination in Batibo without a true military identifying that somebody had been abducted and liberated. This was staged by the Republic government in collaboration with these people who claim to be fighting for Amazonia. They went there and held him with one of their leaders who is now dead. And after a while, they released Mrs. Mooney, and the governor went and took her to Bamenda Airport, and they were saying, oh, she's been liberated. This same leader who held her there on behalf of this group, when he was sick, they carried him to Bingo, carried him in a military helicopter from Bingo to the military hospital in Bamenda and Douala, and gave him treatment like a military, La Republique military general. These people are not genuine, authentic Amazonians fighting for the freedom of Amazonia. La Republique is working with them. They both have one pant on. One has the left foot on and the other has the right foot on. They had the full equipment of the La Republique military. They had vehicles and everything. So all what they are saying there is not to be bought. It's like the devil quoting the scriptures. You have to be aware of the truth to know that they are telling a lie. But at least they acknowledge that they are talking with the Republic government. And the Republic is negotiating in secret like they have done. They went and met them in Canada, and then Rene Sadi came and said that nobody gave anybody instructions to talk in Canada because the Republic lies all the time. They are unreliable. They talk with you behind the scenes and come out and say they don't talk with you. So that is just a fake. The freedom of Amazonia will come and has nothing to do with those people and that cinema that they're doing over there. That's my opinion about it.
But by Sambesia, what's shocking is the fact that Joe Ayaba and his organization are giving more interest or like the Canada conference than even the Swiss process. We know that they work so hard to sabotage the Swiss process. But we now have a revelation that there was a resolution that we don't even know. And that Joe Ayaba is wanting that Cameroon will align to that. I don't know if this is a propaganda, but they are saying they will have to align to what happened in Canada. The same Canada said the Rene Sadi sabotage. The same Canada we know was made up of a mixed multitude of federalists, unionists, special institutionists, and we don't even know where Chuayaba is standing. So much dark cloud in these revelations from Ying's speech there. That is funny, you know. I want to hear from you as we conclude this program.
Well, if you want me to comment on what that Dr. Julius Nyim said, my first line of comment is he said trash. He said nothing for us even to comment on. Are you getting me at all?
Yes, I can hear you very loud and clear.
Yeah, he said nothing. He's a propagandist. Because what did he say in the first place? He says in his first line that a delegation of Cameroon government and the Norwegian government have come to meet Choyaba in prison to negotiate what? To negotiate the independence of Southern Cameroon. One would imagine that Choyaba went to prison with independence of Southern Cameroon so that they will negotiate and release it from there. Choyaba is a prisoner in Norway. They don't need permission to talk to him. And they've been talking to him, they've explained to him why he's in jail. So the whole notion that the Cameroon government sent a delegation together with the delegation from the Norwegian government to go and the independence of Southern Cameroon with Choayaba in prison is fake. It's just false, pure propaganda. And if you took that thing through, there's nothing that guy says that has any meaning at all. He says that the CPA, the government of Cameroon, had written a document claiming that AGOVC was supporting Camto. He says it's a lie. But this man is so stupid to think that everybody is as stupid as him. That document is referring to was written on 5th May, 7th May 25. It was signed by a certain Akoson Remo. Akoson Remo is a living person. He has not disowned his own signature. He's an official of the AGOVC. And somebody comes and was written by the Cameroon. What kind of stupidity is that? Again, this and that nobody should even think about it. He says they went to Canada. All of us know that they went to Canada. That was almost 2 years ago. Was the AGOVC represented in Canada? Of course, they were. Who was their representative in Canada? It was Capo Daniel. Capo Daniel represented them. Capo Daniel is the only person who has told us what happened in Canada. He has not been ashamed of it. He has told us that in Canada they agreed to devolution of power. To a devolution of power. That's his official statement. That other guy was told us the truth. Professor Nyangwe, who was supposed to be the big man there, he said nothing. Mbakuru promised to go around telling the world to tell us what happened in Canada. We have heard nothing from them. Inyi talking there was not even there. He was not even in Canada. Capo Daniel was there. And then he wants anybody what he's saying. Cho Ayaba is in prison. We are not the ones who caused him to be arrested. The Norwegian government is the prison. He is the person to stand trial in Canada, in Norway. Norway did not seek the permission of Yaoundé to arrest him. They did permission of Ambazonians to arrest him. So he has to answer for his crimes. If he can defend himself and go free, so be it. But let him stop making the distraction of thinking that somebody will believe him through his surrogates who own the show of ADF. Or they need to narrate it again. I just said part of it. Oh, what happened in Momo? We know what happened there. What happened in Guzamake? We know what happened there. What happened to General Fang? We know it. It's not longer news. It is not. It is history. And so that was all Cho Ayaba. That was all ADF. We know that when they were in the south, where they were protecting Chimokete's plantations, the same as guts in that plant. It is on record. We know that they killed Kemende, sorry about that, who are Ambazonians. And so for anybody to come and think that he can tell us that somebody is negotiating the end to this war through Cho Ayaba, in the first place, a prisoner. What's the difference between Cho in prison and negotiating and Sisiku sitting in dungeons in Yaoundé and don't negotiate? They are the same. I think this guy would have said, well, I'm the deputy of C. The current government has come to meet me and the Norwegian government because he's a person who is free to speak, not to tell us that you want to meet somebody in prison.
To do negotiation.
For which nobody will buy that. Yes. We had said that Sisiku could not negotiate from prison. We are the free people outside to negotiate with freedom. Cho Ayaba cannot negotiate from prison.
Not to cut you short. By Stambesia, not to cut you short, that's even a contradiction of the position of Ning. Ning, particularly, who happens to be the Aaron of Cho Ayaba, has made a lot of preposterous statements from 2019 into 2020. After his appointment, he has, on many different counts, attacked every effort, because when they thought that when Professor Anyangwe thought that, okay, crumbling President Sako after he failed with APNC and the coup with the scoopers, when they thought that crumbling or dismantling the structure of President Sako or the government and the interim government at the time would be probably to partner. So scoopers were trying to partner with AGOVC, which partnership it did not work. One of their plans was to start a single television together, but a few weeks later on, the AGOVC released their own TV. They couldn't just work together. Cho Ayaba cannot work with anybody that compares with him. That is a fact. He's one of those who have created discord in the struggle. But during which time you had people like Akosong who write terrible things. You had Cho Ayaba and all of them to tell the world that Sisiko is in a place that cannot make decisions. And they outside are the ones to do it. Cho Ayaba even made a statement in one forum that the president added me in that forum. In 2018, I was there because with all the frontline leaders were organizing for that conference. And Cho Ayaba made a statement in one of the forums and said that Dr. Sako knows nothing. He's not, if they want to talk about a liberator, a revolution, he's not a person that he can have a conversation with. Now we're looking at his calculation. So everything they are doing is a contradiction. I've also seen another statement with them trying to debunk the statement that was signed by Akosong Raymond, and they are claiming it's a fake document. I'm looking at it from two standpoints. Number one, they understand that though they are more of a terrorist group than a liberation movement group, their popularity, in spite of everything since Cho was arrested, has greatly diminished. So sending out a letter like that will spark controversy because Cho Ayaba is a person who operates with controversy. That's one way I'm looking at it. Number two way, they have seen that it is a backlash because they felt probably doing that will help France to facilitate the release because it is clear that Cho Ayaba has a hidden agenda with France. It is evident in what he is doing. So that strategy has failed, so they want to flee from it. So there are two things. It is coming from them, but they did it to achieve one of two things or both. To try to, they successfully put attention. We've been talking about it now for some time. Though it's a wrong attention, and the attention has backlashed, and then they are now saying, oh, this thing like this is a fake document. I wonder which Ambazonian, owing to the fact that Cho Ayaba has zero political capital as far as the Ambazonian liberation movement is concerned, I am wondering which Ambazonian will not use an article written by President Sako, but would rather choose a person who has no political capital at all. So, gentlemen, I want the both of you to conclude on this so that we can hand over the microphone in the next 3 minutes to those in the Zoom meeting to coordinate the second segment of the program. I will begin with you, Dr. Fred.
Anyway, the only thing I can say is in this liberation struggle, from my experience, there is only one true, authentic leader, and that is Dr. Sako and those who are genuinely collaborating with him. All the others, either they have been bought off by the Republic of Cameroon or they're self-centered. Anybody who refuses to submit is self-centered or bought off. He may not be perfect, but that is the truth. All the other people, don't worry too much about them. What I personally believe that Ambazonia is going to emerge and the leadership will assert itself with time, and all those people will find that there is no place for them. I think that that's what's going to happen. I'll just leave it there for the purpose of time. Thank you.
Yeah, Baris Ambesia, please.
Well, let me just cue in from what you said. You say this struggle is not about President Sako. No. It is about the institution he hates. He hates what they call the restored government of Southern Cameroon. That's the only thing he only fears to talk about. AGOVC has never claimed to represent Ambazonian government. Never. None of those groups. They would like to talk to Yaoundé. Yaoundé would like to talk to you as a group. But Yaoundé fears the name Southern Cameroon Restored Government. They fear that thing. It sends its chill in their blood. Tactically, it defeats them on the international scene. And so forget about President Sako. Sako is heading a government restored of Southern Cameroon, like it or not. That is what will face Yaoundé on the conference table. You may have your own piece of the pie. Okay, call it AGOVC, call it a consulting. But you will constitute yourself into that government in order to face the common enemy. And I highlighted this last time. Because in 1961, there were so many camps. There was the Indele camp, there was the Tumasa camp, there were so many people. But they all agreed at the end of the day that the delegation to meet to meet Ahijo was going to be the delegation of Southern Cameroon, headed by the government of Southern Cameroon under Frontier. Even Tumasa, I've given an example. Even Tumasa and this guy, they were in Fumba, Abemuko. They were in Fumba representing the OK. They had 2 of the 50-member delegation. So don't fight against Sako. Fight against the institution which Yaoundé doesn't want to talk about. And so you're fighting against the institution of the restored government of Southern Cameroon. It's a waste of time. That's what sends chills on the spine of Yaoundé. Call yourself anything, at the end of the day, you will come back to be under that government delegation. And again, the 50-man delegation that went to Fumba comprised almost everybody in Southern Cameroon, including even Ndele, who had wanted to go to Nigeria. Even in Fumba, Ndele was the one given the opportunity to give the second opening speech. But he gave it as part of the delegation of Southern Cameroon, headed by the government of Southern Cameroon under Frontier. As simple as that. So Cho Ayaba, you can masturbate where you are. The Nis can do all what they want. You only have a piece of the pie. The pie is the pie of the government of Southern Cameroon. You don't have the whole. The whole government of Southern Cameroon is headed by President Sako. Like him or not, hate him or not. This is not a love contest. That's what will take us. Reflect on this. You are being deceived. Over to you.
Amazing. So if he likes, you are the one who is saying it, not me. So if he likes, he should masturbate where he is. Whatever he wishes to do, he can do it. But one thing is certain, it will be a government fully represented and logically represented that will talk for the people of Amazonia. And there is nothing, you see, Cameroon doesn't want to talk with us. It is clear Cameroon wants to talk to us. And so any formidable institution, Cameroon will reject it. President Sako advised the Canadian ambassador, and he wouldn't believe it until when it happened. We cannot emphasize on the fact that we are on the right path under this leadership, and it is important for everyone to align. It is not a hegemony like some amateurs, most of them within government, that want people to think that we are trying to build a dictatorship. No, it's not a dictatorship, it's a revolution. Because we've realized that when people start disagreeing or wanting their way and they cannot succeed, or probably want to justify their platforms they have created, probably their televisions and their institution or their own format of diplomacy, they look for a way to attack the leadership. That is not it. What we are saying is that strategically, Yaoundé respects us when we know who we are. And knowing who we are means that we are a people recognized under international law, have a recognizable government that was destroyed and now has been restored. As we transition, I'm going to be playing the speech of the president during last night's Amba peace plan meeting with stakeholders. It was highly energized, and the president said some things which we analyzed from the introduction of this broadcast that I think those watching at the home front should be listening as we transition. Thank you. It was myself and the crew, entire crew. Thank you for everybody for joining us.